This is the Spiritual Bible. My name is Lisette, and in this podcast I look to the Bible through a spiritual lens, or I look to spirituality through a biblical lens. And today I want to talk about gratitude. And gratitude and being thankful is something that is often spoken about when we talk about self-care and well-being. And it's also talked about a lot in spirituality. But also the Bible has a lot to say about giving praise. And that's of course the same as gratitude. And I want to start with one of my favorite Bible verses. And it is in 1 Thessalonians. It says, "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you." For me, this is a beautiful verse because it reminds me to give praise and give thanks in all circumstances. And not only the circumstances that I admire, or only give praise in the very big highs of life. There is so much to praise for and to thank for, and a lot of times I forget it. I forget to do it and I take everything for granted. And also sometimes I'm just not happy, so I'm not praising anything. But this reminds me to focus on all the good that is given to me. And also this verse reminds me that even though I feel like I should have more of this or that here in this verse it says, "For this is God's will for you." And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm right on track. This is my personal journey and I'm exactly where I should be right now. So relax. When we talk about spirituality, a lot of spiritual people are always talking about their frequency. And what happens if you start to praise? Well, you are building your frequency, you're raising your frequency. Praising is not only something that you do, but it really affects yourself and everybody around you. And that will actually change your reality and how people respond to you, how the world responds to you. And actually everything good in life is built on praises. Also Psalm 22 says that God sits on a throne of praises. It means that when you praise, you build a throne for the divine to sit on. And you build the throne in your head, in your own body. And the Bible says that God sits on a throne of praises. Everything good sits on a throne of praises. And this is not only what the Bible says, it's also proven in brain studies. Because your brain cannot hold fear and gratitude at the same time. It's one or the other. And praise actually learns your brain to focus on what is possible instead of focusing on what is wrong. And the more you train your brain to see the positive things, the more neural pathways your brain is going to make. So you will get in a loop of positivity, of praises, and seeing all the good in everything. So even without that, your reality can change from praising and gratitude. It already changes how you experience the world and your life. So it's really worth a try to focus on gratitude. But on the other hand, I also don't want to promote spiritual bypassing. And what I sometimes see spiritual people do is that they switch to gratitude very quick. And although it's a beautiful thing to focus on all the good, sometimes things are not really good. And you first have to allow all your feelings before you skip over to being thankful and show your praises. Because it's not meant to deny your feeling. And you also see this bypassing in religion. Sometimes in life you experience something horrible, and then religious people are very quick to say, forgive the other, but forgiving is actually not a starting point. It is something what you do at the end of a process. Starting with praises and ignoring things how you feel is also not really a good order to process things. And I believe that you can only praise what your nervous system holds. So sometimes it can be good to start slowly but steady and then progressing. And if you're really unhappy, it makes sense that you cannot just switch the button and be happy 24/7. So you can just start slowly and be thankful for the things that you are really thankful for, but not force yourself into gratitude. And no matter your starting point, it is a very powerful thing. So it's worth to be mindful of anyway. Because praise is the language of heaven. I think that's a very beautiful thought. And to point out how powerful gratitude or praises actually are, I want to mention a few things from the Bible. For example, well, there's a story that Jesus raised someone from the dead. Pretty insane already. But before he did that, he performed this miracle. He thanked. He looks up and he gives thanks. And he said something like already thanking God for the miracle. Even before it happened. So the miracle happened after the praising. And also when Jonah was stuck inside a fish. I always have to laugh a bit about this story. Because Jonah was stuck inside a fish, okay? Can you imagine? So, he was there in the fish and he started saying praises, shouts of grateful praises. And then the fish spit him out. He released him. The fish released him. So he was in a very, very dark place. He started to praise and then a miracle happened. Again, first start to praise and then the miracle happened. Also, when Paul was in prison, he started to sing praises in jail. And then suddenly the prison doors opened and their chains fell off. And not just Paul's chains, but also from the people around them, from the other inmates. So maybe it means if you start to do gratitude, it's not only beneficial for yourself, but also for the people around you. And I really love this example because they were in jail, started to praise, and then their chains fell off and the prison doors opened. To me, it reminds me of the prison I can feel that I'm sometimes in for myself, inside my own thoughts, and that can feel like a prison that I created for myself. And the only way out of the prison that I created is when I start to focus on praising and gratitude. And then the change that I carry will fall off. Because I really do believe that praise creates the breakthrough and it's not the other way around. And I want to close today's episode with a verse from Psalm 50. And it says, "He who offers praise glorifies me and prepares the way." And this is something that I think is very beautiful to keep in mind, because it says blah 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 and prepares the way. So it means that if you start to give your praises, it will prepare the way. It will open possibilities and builds the way to your dreams and your desires, all the things that you want. It starts with praises. As I already said, praise creates the breakthrough. Praise will shake the chains off from yourself, and your praise creates a throne for all the good in your life. It is the path to presence. If you look at it from a brain perspective, a biblical perspective, or a spiritual perspective, I think we can conclude there are only good reasons to praise a little bit more. So I hope this helps you to give some extra praises today. And I'm praising you for listening to this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you next time. Ciao.